Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Marketing Mix. I'm really excited today because I've got an expert here who is going to help us fathom one of my most favourite business tools. It's something that I use pretty much every day at Canva. So buckle up because this is going to be great because it's lovely having someone who specialises in a tool that really helps small businesses to stand out. So Marie-Louise, welcome and tell us a little
Hello.
bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So I am a trained graphic designer. I studied branding and packaging many moons ago, and since then have been working in the design industry. So I've got 20 years of design experience, which I think is important to note because I approach Canva with all of that design training and practical know how. And for me, Canva is just a tool, really, and it's what you do with it that counts, like anything. And I first heard about Canva back in 2017. It's actually just celebrating its 10th anniversary, being around. But I was fairly late to the party, but not as late as some. And I just sort of recognised that it was such a great tool that my clients, of which are predominantly small businesses, solopreneurs, and that kind of thing, that they were trying to DIY stuff themselves anyway. Like I was already trying to make life easier by creating certain templates, like letterhead templates in Word and Google Docs and stuff like that, and just really being able to work with what the client needs. What are the tools you're using, how can we make it look better, and create some sort of templates or that base to work with. And when I saw Canva, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not on par with sort of the Adobe software that I was working with at the time. That was my main thing, but I could see the potential. It really bridged the gap of people trying to bosh something
Yeah,
together with like PowerPoint and failing
yeah,
miserable, and like word art, with using something that with very little design experience, you could create something that looks really fantastic, or at the very least doesn't make your eyes bleed.
yeah, no, yeah,
You can go wrong with it, but which I'm sure we'll talk about in a
yeah.
bit. But yeah, I just think it's a really great platform. You can do so much with it. In fact, a couple of years ago, I downgraded my Adobe software because I was using Canva so much for my own marketing and my own
There
stuff
we
that I was
go.
creating.
So I'm just going to say hello to Lisa, lovely Lisa Pickles, who is also a Canva fan. So just for those of for anyone who's not in the know, what is Canva?
So Canva is a free and also paid for design tool. It's aimed at non-designers, although people of all sorts of abilities do use it. Schools use it. There's a big support system for those in education, as well as charities as well. So there's special um, accounts that you can get and get
Mhm.
either it for free or at a discounted rate. But it has lots of templates. So anything you can think of pretty much is a template. And what it means is you're not kind of trying to create something from a blank page. It gives you that option to get inspired by what other people have created with these templates. It gives you that starting point. So it can save you time. And obviously, if you're not a designer or can't afford to work with a designer, you've got all these quality designs to work with. And within there, there's also lots of resources like elements, video, library, music, audio, illustrations, animations. So there's the kind of design template aspect where you can create all sorts of things for your marketing and communications, but it also there's lots of assets and elements that you can add. So you can make something entirely from scratch. You don't have to work with the templates. You can work with a blank page if you want, or recreate something that you spotted elsewhere outside of Canva and go, oh, that's really nice. I like that. And be inspired by it and create your own version.
So, like, what kind of templates would you recommend? Like, if like me, I'm a solo business owner. What should I be using regularly?
Well, I think it comes down to I think it goes back to what your marketing strategy is. I think the fundamental is knowing who your ideal client is, and it's something that when I talk about knowing what you're going to do, it's all very well going, oh, which like template, which tool, but actually it's really important to do that foundational work of understanding who you want to attract, like who's your dream clients, because every design decision you make is with them in mind. Any of your marketing messages, you're thinking, will that appeal and bring in those ideal clients? So it's not a case of just pick this, pick that. I think most people use it for social media, so there's a real wealth of templates we were just talking before we came on live about reels and short form content, and there's lots of great templates around that. So if you don't want to have your face there's lots of templates where there's like moving video with animated text on top. So it's really thinking about what are you trying to do first, and then go and search for the template. I think you can lose yourself in Canva looking and almost get decision paralysis, because there's such a wealth of choice, being in the candy shop, as it were, like sweet to have. So just sort of pick out which things draw your eye, but ideally have a bit of help using, take guidance from your marketing strategy and what do you need to communicate, what is your brand look and feel, and who do you want to attract, and use those as the kind of tick points as to which templates you go for, rather than, oh, I'll just pick that one because it looks pretty. If you do that, you end up with looking maybe a bit unprofessional, inconsistent, and a bit of a scattergun kind of approach in the look and feel of what you're putting out there.
And I think I've only really scratched the surface with Canva. I've been using it pretty much since I started my business in 2016, and I can't for the life of me remember how I discovered it. And I look at some of the designs that I created back then and I really cringe. But what are there templates there that we would never think they'd have? Because like you, I think I focus quite a lot on social media. I use a little bit to design like mastheads for newsletters, email newsletters, and sometimes I will create presentation slides. Like if I want something nice that I can't create in PowerPoint. Well, I'm a PowerPoint girl. I can't get on with presenting in Canva. But are there other things that we wouldn't think of that have templates?
So they have introduced a few templates in particular. So they got something called Whiteboard, which allows you to brainstorm, and it's very much geared up to that multiple people can be sharing it. You could be on a Zoom call or some sort of like Teams or whatever, and multiple people can be adding things like these sort of digital post-it notes, and you can kind of bring information together, and it's like an unlimited art board, as it were, and you can sort of use it to collaborate with. I would also say there's websites. There are some pros and cons to using Canva's websites, but if you're just starting out, you're a new business and you want something free or like low cost, maybe considering creating like a landing page or some sort of digital brochure on Canva. That can be quite a good place to go. And certainly the work that they've done on the website templates is better than when they were in beta mode. So I think they are SEO to a point. I mean, and they are mobile friendly to a point. Okay. So they're a starting point. If you have some familiarity with Canva and you don't want to kind of do something over here and do something over there, you can just sort of keep in the same program. And then another side of it is probably there's a whole like merch side. So you can create t-shirts, mugs, notebooks. I'm actually training on it in my membership this month, all about creating your own merch. And I tested it out by creating some birthday presents for my brother over the summer. So I created a notebook a mug and a t-shirt within the sort of same sort of design family, and he loved it.
Amazing.
So, yeah, you can design and print all within Canva.
Wow, I didn't know about I knew about the mugs and the t-shirts, but I didn't know about the notebooks, because I'm a bit of a stationery fiend. So
So you can make your own branded notebooks. I mean, they're not as cheap as maybe some options out there. I'm sure you could probably get, especially if you were looking to get quite a few. Although I think they do have a certain amount of bulk pricing options there, like most places do. But yeah, the quality was okay, and yeah, I would use them again.
Interesting. So, as a designer, tell us what some of your favourite features in Canva are.
So the tool that I don't think I could live without now is the background remover tool.
Me
quite
too.
frankly,
One of my favourite.
I used to spend hours like clipping around in Photoshop. I'm sure like Photoshop has improved. I know they're embracing the kind of AI technology, and you probably can just press a button now in Photoshop. I wouldn't know now because I don't have it as part of my suite anymore. But yeah, the background remover, and you can do the same in video as well. It is a pro only feature, so you do have to be on the pro, but it saves time. It takes like a few seconds, and it does a pretty good job.
I mean, I've not had any complaints, and I used to before I started using Canva, I used to use the background remover in PowerPoint, which is really hit and miss, because you do it with your mouse and you have to tell it what you want to keep or what you want to remove, and you have to do it bit by bit.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating. And then as soon as I discovered Canva, and in those days the background remover was in the free version, and I was just so delighted to have found that, because it was just so difficult removing the background. But I didn't know you could do it in video as well.
Yeah, so that's relatively new as a feature. And then the other tool that I'm getting more into using is some of the AI, their magic tools, they're calling it. So they've got Magic Text, which is sort of their version of ChatGPT. It's having had a little dabble with ChatGPT, it's not trainable like some of these other AI text tools. But again, if you're sort of working on a bit of text, maybe you're creating a brochure or something and you want to rewrite it, change the tone of voice of it, expand on it, summarize. There's all these tools that you can use, and it means you don't have to kind of leave Canva, go on to another tool. You can do it, and I find it works quite well. And it does the job. I mean, like any of these AI tools, it does depend on what kind of prompts you give as to what comes out. And I do find, even with sort of ChatGPT and sort of some of the more standard big names that we are familiar with, that you still want to rewrite it a little bit. It just gives you that jumping off point. So I found that quite useful. There's also another tool. I've tried it and I've demonstrated it, but I haven't yet figured out in terms of my own personal workflow for my own marketing. And that's like Bulk Create, I think it's called. And it's basically really useful if you, for example, you've got a load of the same sort of posts, for example, and you've already prepared the text content. So for example, like motivational quotes, and you might have the quote itself and then who it's by. You can either use it in, they've got like a sort of a table within that tool, or you can use Excel or Google Sheets, and you download a CSV file and can add it in, and you just have your template set up, and it's like magic. So you can really batch create quite a lot. So I think it's a really good tool, but I haven't personally yet worked out how I want to use it for myself, because I do outsource a bit of my social media already, and it's like, what do we do? Do I change things, or but yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
Becky's just said that she's not spotted the merch design stuff, so I'm sure she's going to go and check that out. coming on to designing, what should people consider when they're, like, say someone wants to design a post for LinkedIn? What should they be thinking about when they do that?
I suppose one thing is thinking about what kind of post is it, because it might be that they just want to have their image or some sort of image that relates to the content of the post, and then have like their logo on it somewhere and just keep it simple, image and logo. But they may want to have, like a testimonial or a motivational quote. It might be that you want to have share sort of an infographic. So it really comes down to what is that post about, and then look for the relevant type of content for that. And I would also say think a bit laterally when it comes to picking out templates. So yes, you could go and looking for a LinkedIn post, and it's maybe you're a specific market, so maybe you're an accountant, so you could put accountant LinkedIn post, and see what comes up. Doing some research like that and getting inspiration is good, or a specific topic that relates. But you don't need to necessarily be narrowed by, it only has to be LinkedIn, because you can resize to make your design whatever. So I wouldn't, you might get some good ideas in other types of designs. There certainly seems to be a lot more templates for the Instagram post market. And same again, like if you were wanting to have the newer, slightly more portrait Instagram post, well, if you type that in or specified that, you might be discounting a whole load of other templates that have already been created, but they're in the square. So
I found that because you can do the document, upload the PDF in LinkedIn, can't you, to create a carousel? And I've done that by using an Instagram template that I liked and then converting it. So it is really flexible.
Yeah, although with that, I have heard that they're phasing out the upload a PDF and have a carousel thing in LinkedIn. I don't know when. I don't know when. I can't remember. I heard it quite recently, like last month or something. So you could do the same principle, but you would upload it as a video. You would save it as a video, so you could just have the same slides, but do it as a video. I believe that they are changing it to because they want to make it very video focused. So if you like video and saving stuff as video, do that after LinkedIn.
I really don't like doing. I don't like watching lots of videos. I prefer reading. So I think I sort of, my bias is towards doing more posts with text on them, and I know I should be doing more video.
Yeah, but you could do your carousel type post, but if you save it as a video, then LinkedIn, you'll be making LinkedIn happy.
Oh gosh.
But yeah.
I call it feeding the beast.
Yeah. All these different things. I don't know when they're phasing that PDF to have your carousels out. It might be worth looking into and seeing.
I follow John Espirian, who seems to know everything there is to know about LinkedIn. So I might ask him and see if he's heard what's happening and when it's happening.
Yeah.
He's usually in the know. So what do you do? Like, how can you create something that's eye-catching? Because I've seen people. I know that I've seen posts where I know somebody's used a template, but it looks really messy. So what do you need to do to make it really eye-catching?
So there's a couple of things that people can do when it comes to, if you're working with a template, is think about, in terms of what text and information is already on there. There's going to be a hierarchy, and you need to have something, and you want to think about what do people see first. So whether that's like an advert, social media post, your banner on your LinkedIn, the header on your LinkedIn, all of these different things, what do you want the eye to catch first? So if it's text, that would be like your headline text. It would give a bit of a snippet. It's like your title. And that's going to kind of draw people in. Your logo is probably not going to be the most important thing, and so isn't the biggest thing, but you might want it there, but you want it to still be readable. You don't want to have too much text on there, because you've got, in the social media context, if it's a post, you've got all the text space that, when you're posting it, you can put all the information there, links and things like that. So the graphic is just that. It's to really catch the eye. It gives a bit of it's like the front cover. So you wouldn't put the whole, book on the front cover. You would give a sense of what they're getting. It ties in. There's an obvious link to what you're talking about. You want to attract them with that. So making sure that there is a focal point if it's an image. Not having millions and millions of things on there, too much stuff. So keeping it simple will help. Having that hierarchy. And if you're working with a template, be careful not to shy too far from how it's shaped. So like if you're particularly quite new or a bit of a novice, if you sort of go, oh, well, I'm just going to bung loads of text in here, and then you sort of almost break the template.
And those templates are great because you can, like, I'm not a designer, and if I was just saying that, I think before I was saying that, I cringe at the designs that I made early on because there weren't as many templates. So I typically don't start from scratch. I find a template that I like, and then I change the colors and I change the font style, but it's still.
I use a lot of templates myself, whether it's working with clients or doing my own stuff, because it's already been done. I mean, how much I change it and make it my own, and what I need it for depends on sort of what the, how the process goes. A tip with that is, and whether you are new or kind of a seasoned veteran when it comes to Canva, what I think is quite useful is when you start, take on a template, make a duplicate of that page, keep it in the same document, and almost have like the original before and the after. So on the first page, make that your one. So you would be changing up the colors, changing up the fonts. And then what it means is that you can see how far you take it away. And then if you get to a point like a crossroads of the design where you're like, well, I could do all of this, I could completely change it, but I don't know if it will break the design. I'm not sure if that's too far. Duplicate at that point. So you almost have got like the A and B version of that design, but you've also got that page where it's the original design, so that you can kind of, once you've finished doing everything you need, you can kind of almost learn from like looking at the before and after, so that you can make sure that your after still has the eye-catching elements of the original design. Have you lost that? Have you gone a bit too far? Have you added too much? Keeping it simple is always better. I mean, even within some of the Canva templates, there's some that have got lots of decorative dots and things and doodahs, which drives me a little bit mad, a little bit. And I think they're almost like a giveaway of that they're a Canva template, because it's like, oh, look, there's those 6 little dots together. So, don't be afraid to remove some of the fluff that is not necessary, and add your own fluff, because you want to bring your own brand through. So, is there any kind of visual imagery that is associated with your brand, shapes or icons or things that you can do to bring your personality into the design, your brand personality?
I was going to ask you something and that's completely gone out of my head. We're talking about template. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. You have templates on Canva, don't you?
I do, yes.
How do people find those?
Well, I can give you the link.
Can you post it in the chat? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, bear with. I'll just grab it.
So if you want to check out some of Marie-Louise's templates on Canva, I think she's going to try and post the link. If she can't do it, I will come back and post the link in the comments later. But it's worth finding designers that you like on Canva who design the types of templates that you like. They'll have more.
I'll put it in. I think I'm doing it. There you go.
Brilliant.
I put it in.
There we go. So it's worth finding, like, if you find one template that you like, it's worth going and trying to find that designer to see if you can have things that have the same look and feel really for your brand.
Yeah, at the moment I'm expanding my template. So at the moment I've got some fun ones. They're kind of cute, silly ones that I'm working on. But I've got a whole like document with ideas of things to create. But it can be a little bit of a slow process to go through the submission process with Canva, because they've done a bit of changing things up, and there's some I don't know, computer says no moments at times. So like I've had a little bit of a pause over the summer to just be like, okay, I'm just going to leave that a moment, get some sanity. But I've got some ideas from some more practical ones. And if you're looking for things, and you're like, there isn't a template for this, do get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to create some with you in mind, and get some on the spot, on demand templates for you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely worth trying to, if you can, if that's something that you're interested in. I'm just going to post Marie-Louise's website in the comments, but it's definitely worth getting in touch, because you get something that's a little bit more bespoke, that looks like you, that isn't, that not everyone's using. I try, and when I look for new templates, I try and dig around for a long time, because if you pick the ones near the top, everyone's using them. I tend to do more long searches, and I favorite the ones that I like so that I can come back and use them again. Somebody's just said, sorry, I've missed most of it. That's fine. You can catch up. It will be available on the LinkedIn event and on YouTube. So the recording will be available, and you can catch up afterwards. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really good, and I don't think we've had enough time, but I think maybe we can try and get another thing booked in where we focus on maybe one particular part, because Canva's so massive. It's difficult to get everything in there. It's Health. Hello, Health. If you want to join my email list, if you're not already on there, the Marketing Morsel Club, the link is in the comments. You get a weekly email, which goes out on a Tuesday, and a whole host of other things, like a private Facebook group, member-only webinars, and a ton of other stuff. So do sign up for that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think Canva is an amazing tool. I've been using it for such a long time, and I'm a big advocate for it. And I'm like really, really pleased to find a graphic designer who also feels the same. You're the second graphic designer that I've met who says that they love Canva and use it. So I think that's such a great thing. I think just it makes design so much more accessible to people like me who don't have a designery bone in their body. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
I will be back in 2 weeks' time with Angela Lyons, who is the other graphic designer who loves Canva. But we're going to be talking about all things fonts, because Angela always has interesting facts about fonts. So we're going to be talking about fonts and how they work and why they matter in your design and all sorts of stuff. So join me in 2 weeks' time, and I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.